intentional. I am the sun. I am original. I am the one. I have a purpose for my existence. I will not stop till I reach my mission. I have ambition. I am consistent. People don't cross me without my permission. My journey is in no competition. I am grateful for all I've been given. I am unique. I am complete. I am everything that I wish to see. I can create my own reality. I am the best me that I can be. I am manifestation. I am present and patient. I am confident. I am opulent. I am destined for greatness. I am.
What's good, y'all? It's your girl Sheena D, aka Indigo Mayoral, and this is Str8 Outta Kemet. Founded in 2019, it was birthed underneath my publishing company, I in the Middle Publishing LLC, where the mission is raising frequencies one book at a time. Str8 Outta Kemet features greatness from our own melanated community of entrepreneurs, entertainers, authors, and social influencers. Its mission is lifting up our people one broadcast at a time. Str8 Outta Kemet has been rebirthed and will continue in the legacy of uplifting our people by utilizing its platform to promote their greatness. We are available on all listening platforms.
What's goody, y'all? What's goody? Happy Wednesday to ya. I know it's been a minute, but your girl was going through some trials and tribulations, man. You know how life is. Sometimes it'll hand you a lemon, baby, and expect for you to make some lemonade, but you don't even be having the strength to make no daggone lemonade, baby. And that's the type of time I was in, but it's all good, baby. All them extra blows don't do nothing but help to build you and make you stronger. So to anyone out there who's feeling like giving up, I'm trying to tell you, please tap into whatever your high power is, whatever your spiritual practice is. Tap into it, baby, because you are definitely destined for greatness. You are put here on this planet for a reason, and you have to see it through. You just have to. As my wonderful, enlightened college professor would say, stay the course. Keep the faith, all right? You all are definitely in for a very, very special treat tonight. This young man who is going to be on the show, he is so inspirational. I'm trying to tell y'all, when I see the greatness that he is doing and how he is moving, I can do nothing else but one, give him his praise, and two, be inspired to keep on going no matter what. You in for a great treat. Hailing from North Carolina, Anthony D. Oakes is a District of Columbia resident who is taking comedy and storytelling on the East Coast by storm. A natural comedian, Anthony has hit the ground running. His clean-esque yet edgy Southern intellectual witty humor will have you reeling with laughter. He has graced the stages of the Apollo, the John F. Kennedy Center, the DC Improv, the Broadway, the West Side, and the Greenwich Village Comedy Club in New York City, the Laugh Factory, the Comedy Store, Flappers, and the Ice House Comedy Club in LA. You can catch him locally at the DC Improv, the DC Draft House, the Beer Baron Comedy Law, Busboys and Poets, and the Wonderland Ballroom. Right, and without further ado, we have one of the funniest men that I know. He goes by comedian Anthony Oakes. How are you?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I am absolutely blessed. I'm still breathing. I still have life in my body. So that means my purpose is not yet fulfilled.
True. Facts.
Indeed. So before we get into all of your greatness, I love having these icebreaker questions just to, give the audience like a little bit of the other side of you. So my question for you is, what do you think the world would be like if there was absolutely no mirrors, no cameras? There was no way at all for us to see our reflection.
I think that we would probably trust more. Um, I mean, and this also would have to, there couldn't be any water because you would be able to see your reflection in a puddle or anything of that nature. So just assuming that you would really have to rely on the trust of other people to really get a sense of what you look like. And so that trust would have to, go both ways. So I think that it would create a greater sense of trust. Um, and I mean, it also goes both ways if people say you're ugly. Like, I guess, I mean, I guess you have to take a tally and see how many people said it to figure out if it's true or not, or if people were just trying to be funny. I don't know. That's a good one though. That's a good one.
Take a tally. Excuse me, am I ugly? Yes. Okay. Hey, wait.
Okay, you? Do you think I'm ugly? Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. That's five. Wait a minute now.
Need
That's
one more. Let's
crazy.
see. We gotta have to bring it even. Oh man, that is funny. So I've seen you doing like, from the time that I met you, from when we did what was the name of our show that we did? Make a change, keep a change. Listen, I'm sorry.
Yes.
You know how you do so many shows, you start to forget after a
Listen, I
while.
get it. I get it.
When I met you during that time and you came on, you auditioned for the role of Rain, you came in there and nailed it and did an amazing job. And since then, I have just seen your career like soaring, like absolutely soaring. So, congratulations to you and all of the great things that you're doing. I'm so proud of you. I really,
Thank
really
you.
am. And
Thank you,
you are
love.
such an inspiration. Such an inspiration, especially knowing what you have shared like on social media about your background and things like that. And you basically overcame everything. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I'm getting excited. But I would love for you to share with the audience like what prompted you to get into comedy.
So, without going into like a long, drawn out story, I'm from North Carolina originally, and I moved to DC about 10 years ago. Now, just a little background about myself: I'm a recovering cocaine addict. I've been clean for almost 9 years, um, and it was bad. And I moved up here thinking that the move was going to change that, and it didn't. But I remember one night specifically, I was getting high, and I just out of the blue just burst into tears,
Mm.
and I just remember thinking like, and it was like right before I think my 40th birthday. I was like 39, because I'll be 49 this year. Um, and I was just
Look at you.
like, I know, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Don't even look a day of a 30.
well, we're not gonna say that cocaine is a preservative. We're not gonna say that. Um, but so, and I just remember like I was in this space where I had no purpose, did not know what my purpose was. I had no love. I was a loving person. But it was just I could never find someone who would love me for me. Um, and I just so here's the thing, and I'm very careful when I say this because I don't want to say that, oh, I prayed a prayer. Um, just removing that religious connotation from it. But I did speak to God. It wasn't in like I'm praying or something like that because I was high as Cuda Brown. But at the same token, I was just like, listen, this is crazy. Um, I just really need to find my purpose. Like, I need to find love. I just speak all of these things into my life so that I can stop ruining my life with this drug addiction, basically. Um, And probably 2 weeks after I was working I had just started working in like a natural hair care salon.
Mm.
Shout out to Lock Love.
Yes.
And um, one of the clients, I was shampooing his hair. He was like, dude, you are so funny. He was like, you should really like get into comedy. And I was like, rah, rah, rah. But he was like, I'm going to give you the name of this guy. And he's a comedian and he'll like set you on the right path and blah, blah, blah. So he gave me the name. I put it in my pocket. Long story short, I washed the jeans that my it was in, but I did look at the name. I did look at the name of the person. So then about 2 weeks after that, I was shampooing another client. She was like, oh my God, you are so funny. Like, have you ever thought about being a comedian? I was like, oh wow, like this guy just said that not too long ago, blah, blah, blah. She was like, I'm taking a workshop. You should take the workshop. My boss at the time, shout out to Sally Watts, was like, hey, I really think you're funny too. You should probably do it. And I'll even let you off, on whenever you have to take the workshop.
That's
So,
amazing.
right? It's nothing like
Mm-hmm.
favor. Nothing like
Yes,
favor. And
indeed.
also walking the beginning steps of walking in your purpose. Um,
Mm.
I'm a firm believer that your gifts will make room for you. You just have to exercise them. And that was just the perfect example of me starting that path, and doors beginning to open. So I took the workshop. The workshop was this workshop called In Laughing Color. It was with, oh my gosh, it's gonna kill me. It was with, it's gonna come to me a little later. I can't think of it, but they taught you the ropes. It was a queer comedy type of thing, um, and what they didn't do. So they had like a showcase at the end of the workshop, and I remember now betwixt the time of when I started doing comedy and when the showcase was, I one day I was at work and there were two salons in the same building, the lock salon and a male grooming salon. Came in one day and this guy walked through the door and I was like, and the boss of the male grooming salon was standing beside me and I was like, oh, who is that? He was like, oh, that's my new concierge. And me being gay, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, that's my husband. Being funny. I was really being funny to him, but really I was serious. But and him being straight at the time, he just did not understand what I was talking about. And it was Kevin. I met Kevin,
Oh,
who was my now fiance.
yes.
Um, so that
Wow.
happened betwixt the time of me taking this workshop and the showcase from when I first performed comedy. Did the showcase when I told my first joke. Um, it was as if, I mean, really, there are no words to describe it, but if I had to describe it, I would say that as the first wave of laughter came in, I was yanked out of that space. Like I could hear the laughter, but I was also having this inner dialogue. Like one, you have to let drugs go. Two, you have to let drugs go. Three, this is your destiny. You should have been doing this the whole time. This is your purpose. Like this internal monologue was happening simultaneously as the waves of laughter began to come in. It was surreal.
Wow.
It was ethereal. It was mind blowing. Um, Almost angelic, like the way it felt. So after the showcase, one of the mentors came over to me and she was like, hey, great job. She was like, but it's really more than that. She was like, I really see you doing this like for real. Like you should really do this for
Yes.
real. She was like, I see it in you and like you're gonna be a killer. She was like, I'm gonna turn you on to this guy and he can help you. Now, this is an old white lady. She was like, I'm gonna turn you on to this guy, and he should be able to, set you up and blah blah blah. She gave me the name of the guy. It was the same name that the first guy from back at the salon had given me, and I washed in my jeans. Now, mind you, these are two totally different
Wow.
demographics. This is
Right.
a black dude with locks. You know what I'm saying? This is an old white lady who used to be a nun. And they gave me the name of the same guy, and it was just like everything was just like rolling out, and it was like you could like at the time I was like, this feels so unreal. It felt so like it just couldn't be real. And I reached out to the guy. He was like, hey, meet me at this place. So I at the time I had never heard of the Beer Baron Tavern over on P Street in DuPont Circle. So I went out there, met him at the bar. He was a little tipsy, so he was like, yeah, you ready for this? You ready? You ready? And I'm thinking he's speaking like figuratively, like, oh, okay. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, I'm ready, ready. And so I didn't know that on the other side of this curtain thing, it was like a room of like 100 people. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna put you up, and he put me
Wow.
up and I killed. And that was Alex Starr. Um and the previous name that I forgot was Chelsea Short. She's the one who curated one of the people that curated the LGBT comedy shop workshop that I did. Um but yeah, and then after I did that, it was just like doors began to open of sorts. Comedy is a very interesting mode of entertainment. You have
Mhm.
to earn your chops. You have to play the game of sorts when initially getting into the community. You have to make connections, and that's what I did.
Wow. Such an amazing story. It's like everything was just so destined. Like it was already panned out.
It's crazy. It'll be 9 years in November.
Wow, that's a really really big inspiration. That's one of the reasons why I'm so inspired by you. Because I mean, we feel like we all deal with our different vices. I've dealt with mine. Uh,
Hmm.
Thankfully, I'm back on the other side now. I'm nice and clear headed, clear minded. Um, and prayerfully, I'll keep that up. Uh,
Amen.
so I'm thankful for your inspiration. And that
Of
is
course.
actually a story that I'm going to share myself uh, one day when I get to a certain level. Definitely, because I think it's definitely something that needs to
It
be
took me a
heard.
long time to share that message because,
Yeah.
you think about how people are going to judge you, how people are going to perceive you, and all of those negative thoughts will try to prevent you from sharing. When
Yeah.
really, you would be amazed at the people who, even when I like tell my stories like on social media and stuff like that, the amount of people that hit me in my DMs and in my inboxes about their struggles and how I motivate them. It's all worth it. It's all worth it. It's all worth it.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. I know your story for sure is going to be inspiration to others who are watching, regardless of what field that they are going into. So thank you for sharing that story.
Of
Definitely.
course.
Definitely. So, what is it that you do as a comedian on stage to be able to connect with the audience? Like because I came to the last performance that I saw you in, and I was just like the way that you came out there and moved that whole room. I was like, wow. Like I think was that my first time actually seeing you perform on stage, like doing comedy. I no, it
I
wasn't.
think
It
it
wasn't.
was.
I was my second time.
Oh, when
Last
was the
time I
first
came was
time?
you was at the firehouse in like Silver Spring.
Oh yeah, but those type of rooms are like what we call like war rooms, or like that's like open mics and stuff like that.
Oh,
Where you go to
gotcha.
test out your material. You know what I'm saying? Like you're working it out, you're working to see what hits and what doesn't. And shout out to again Alex Starr, because that's who ran that particular room at that time. But yeah,
Okay.
the most recent show that you're talking about was the taping. with legendary Bob Sumner.
Absolutely.
That was
Yes.
fun.
Yes. And what did you or how do you what technique do you use to connect with the audience? It was fun.
So,
Very fun.
so here's the thing, and I'm gonna be very frank and
Mhm.
candid. I have a very niche type of content and material because I am black and gay. Um, and as we know, a lot of sometimes it doesn't connect with people. So I have to find a way to be myself, but also write in a way that it is digestible for everyone. That is my goal. That is my job as a comedian, to make people understand what I'm talking about and realize that it's funny anyway. So a lot of what I do is intentional. It's curated. It's the setup. It's the punchline. It's it's the camaraderie I have with the audience, pulling them in, asking misdirection sometimes, asking them a question here, but really the answer is crazy. It's a lot of little tools that audience engagement, asking them how they're doing. Um, just asking different. It really depends on the show and where I am. But overall, it's the same tools. I'm engaging them. I'm asking them questions. I'm drawing them in. I'm using a little misdirection here. The misdirection is funny. It pulls them in, and then I'll be able to open up and share more of me without them having their guard up because I've disarmed them.
Got you. Now, uh, do you still work like your full-time job?
No, so here's the thing. I went back to school to finish my undergraduate degree because I never finished. Um,
Okay.
yes, so I'll be done in the fall. I'll have my bachelor's in English and literature.
Nice.
So I go to school full time. I'm taking 5 classes, 16 credits. I actually go to campus. I go to the University of Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia, UDC.
Okay, my alma mater. Hey.
Yeah, come on, Firebird. And yeah. So I do not work a full. I have the same full time job for the past 7 years. Shout out to the National Association for the Education of Young Children, NAEYC. They're the great nonprofit organization that helps in children's education. I worked there for years. They fostered my comedy career. Like, they were very supportive. Some of them came to my shows. They allowed me to travel a lot, and encouraged me. So it's very important because people think, like, when I don't like when people say, well, it was me and I did this alone. When I tell you, so many people have assisted me in this journey, you being one of those people. That opportunity
Oh,
to present myself on the stage like that, I had not done that in so long, and it just brought back all of the tools that I previously learned, and you allowed me to bust those chops, on stage again, and I appreciate that. But there are
absolutely.
people who, have helped me with flights, helped me with hotels. I slept on their couch. What I'm saying, they booked me on shows. They've come to my shows. They've sent me money. So, you know, people, I didn't do this alone. And that job, even though they assisted me, they knew when it was time for me to move on.
Yeah. That's beautiful that you have a great support system. I was just
Mhm.
wondering because I was like, every time I go on Facebook, I see you like Florida, Atlanta, New Mexico, Costa Rica. No, you know what I'm saying. But I would see you like everywhere, and so I was like, well, how is he doing this and he working at the same
Well,
time?
I
And then I was
did. I mean, I
just
just stopped working like in January. Like, I just
okay,
stopped working in January. So, before that, I was still working full time. Like, our only in office days were on Wednesdays. The rest of the time we were remote. So,
okay,
it allowed me to, especially
Yeah.
post pandemic.
Right. Right. That is amazing. I know I'm not kind of like sticking to the script, but I do kind of want you to share about your 7 Black minutes.
Yes. So during the pandemic, so long story short, I used to do this show called Thursday Night Tea with Anthony. It was Alex and Anthony, and then Alex dropped out, so it was just Thursday Night Tea with Anthony. It was at WLVS Radio over at Listen Vision Studios. Shout out to Boom, Jeremy. Um, and it was very popular, especially locally. I would have emerging artists come on there, a lot of local DC artists, producers, haircut. It was just a variety show. I would have comedians come on and
Authors.
perform, authors, singers,
Yes.
um, and it just provided a platform. It was super funny and it was super fun. The production was great. And I loved the theme song. So that was Thursday Night Tea. And then once, comedy kind of beefed up, I kind of let Thursday Night Tea go. And then the pandemic hit. So I tried to bring Thursday Night Tea back, but it just wasn't. I was like, yeah, that's kind of dead. I want to do something else. And I was in a Zoom with the final episode of Thursday Night Tea because I had brought it back temporarily. I was in a Zoom with my homegirl, my friend Patrice DeVoe. And we were talking, and she was like, yeah, we should do something else. And it should be about Black stuff and blah, blah, blah. So we birthed this thing called the Black Think Tank with Anthony and Patrice. So it was like a podcast we did it was like a video podcast we did over the pandemic where we had people, I mean, we had like great people come on, and I think we had Marsha Warfield on. We had Jermaine that was in what's his name that was in Coming to America. I'm so bad with names. I've got to get better with this.
Me too.
But Jermaine Hawkins, and we in that podcast, we had a segment called 3 Black minutes, where we would have comedians come on and you had 3 minutes to talk about like black stuff, and it had to be funny or you would get booed. And so 3 minutes so that, people would come on, and we had comedians from all over the country because it was all virtual. And when things opened back up, we stopped doing the Black Think Tank with Anthony and Patrice because we started getting booked again, and it just became like too much for us to do. But I loved the concept of 3 Black minutes. So I was like, how can I form that like into a show? And we did have one type of like show that from the podcast, but it wasn't necessarily 7 Black minutes. I just thought about like what kept ringing in my head was 7 is the number of completion. And in a set, 7 minutes is great. You have time to set up who you are, go through the motions, and end your set. Like that's a great amount of time. But I wanted to equate it with Black time and things of that nature. And I just came up with 7 Black minutes, where I bring 7 Black comedians from all over. A lot of them are from the area because I like to support DC and the DMV. But I bring in 7 comedians from all over. They're Black. They do 7 minutes of Black hilarity. We do a Black trivia game show. In which no one ever knows the answers. But this past one, they did know the answers, and it was good. We also do a best dress contest where the winner wins $100. We have DJ R is. Our GF Entertainment is taking pictures, and she really captures the essence of the show. And it's at Busboys and Poets Anacostia. And the reason I like to pump resources and money into Ward 7 and 8 because that's where I live, and I like to revitalize that money into those types of establishments.
Beautiful.
And yeah, that's how 7 Black minutes came about.
Wow, you are so amazing. Yes, because you do host at Bus Boys and Poets
Yep, every
as
first
well.
Wednesday I post. I host at 450 K Street. Every first Wednesday. Yeah, it's an open mic, open to all comedy, singing, dancing, poetry, spoken word, everything. So
I'm gonna have to make my way out there. Now I have a little bit extra assistance with the children, so it's easier for
please,
me like to kind of break away. And I've been telling myself I need to get out and stop being so
please, yes, it's the
so
key.
close. Yes. So the next question I have is one celebrity that you would like to work with. But we know that you've been working with some celebrities already. I mean, if you want to share the celebrity you've been working with, but or celebrities, a
Uh,
celebrity that you would like to work
um,
with.
I would love to. So, fun fact: I will be performing at the American Black Film Festival,
Mm.
the ABFF in South Beach, hosted by Issa Rae, in
Oh,
June. Yes. Um,
wow.
so I'll be there all week. I'm going to all the sessions because I have a full access pass. And I am looking forward to working with, of course, Issa Rae, Kenya Barris, um, Lee Daniels,
Wow.
um, are all people that I want to work with. Tyler Perry. I know people give Tyler Perry flack. I don't have nothing to do with that. Like
I know
he
that's
has an
right.
amazing, yeah. He has an amazing setup. And I would not mind working with him. And
Absolutely.
I'm open. I'm rooting for everybody black, and those who support black people.
Yes, I love it. You are doing great, great things. How did you get to? You said it's called the American
The
American.
American Black Film Festival, ABFF. Yes, it
Okay, how
happens.
did you get into that?
So I was booked
Okay,
through Bob Sumner, his entertainment agency.
nice.
Um, yes, but the film you can submit to the festival. I think they have like open submissions for films and things of that nature.
They got open submissions
Um,
for stage play.
well, I would go to their website. I would definitely go to their website to see it. I'm not sure of all of the submissions,
Mm.
um, but yeah.
You have a film too. I've been sitting on. Been sitting on this movie for a minute.
See, stop.
It's a comedy.
2024 is the year to get up off it.
I know that's right. I know that is right. That is right. Um, I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. Like you're really doing a damn thing. You really, really are. Like I'm telling you, every time I look at my phone, I'm like, you are
Thank
inspiring
you.
me, and you telling me, like, Sheena, get yourself together. You're not telling me that, but you telling me that. You know what I'm saying? Like I just feel so inspired by you, and so thankful to have met you. And just to be able to have your number. You know what I'm saying? Because you're
Yeah,
like a
like, but the
celebrity
feeling
for
is mutual though.
real. Yes.
The
Oh,
feeling is
I
definitely
appreciate it.
mutual.
I appreciate it. So I'm not gonna hold you too much longer. Um, but I would like to know what's one thing that you would tell your inner child.
Hmm. If I could have a conversation with, now, is it myself as a child? So, first, the first thing I would say is always be yourself. What you are will make you win. Secondly, your credit score is everything. Protect it. Protect your credit.
Yes.
Third, you are worthy to be loved.
Mm, mm. That's deep.
Yeah.
That one got me
So
right
yeah,
here.
those are the top three. Those are the top three.
Yes, 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 yes. I love it. And what would you say to the upcoming comedian that they don't know where to start, they don't know what to do, they scared, they really got stage fright, but they know that they funny and they just need some guidance? What would you tell them? What would be your words of
I
encouragement?
I would tell them to try to take a workshop because, and I know that sounds like, oh, anybody can take a workshop, but really, all you need are the basics. You need the basic bare bones instruction in order to see if you're funny or not, because you may not even be funny. You know what I'm saying? Everybody thinks they're funny, but you may come to realize, oh no, no, I'm not as funny as I thought I was. So either way, you know, take that workshop, learn those bare bones, get out there, do the work because like it's work. When I first started doing comedy, I was doing it and I was also in recovery. So I comedy replaced my drug use. I was doing comedy every single night, 5 and 6, 7 times a week, just on a loop, getting better, going to the war rooms, going to the hard rooms, being versatile, learning stage tricks, watching the oldies, watching the elders, watching those who came before me, to get better.
Yes, that's
Get out there.
amazing. Hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. So, well, first of all, thank you so much for that amazing, wonderful, like, interview. You are always just definitely a vibe. Always. You've always been
Thank
a
you,
vibe
boo.
from the time
Thank
that I
you.
met
Likewise.
you. I appreciate you. Please feel free to let the audience know all the good, great things that you have coming up, your social handles, all that, how they can find you.
So you can find me on all platforms. My name is Anthony Oakes. Last name is Oakes. A lot of people forget that E in there. But I have a website, anthonyoakescomedian.com, or me on social media at Anthony Oakes Comedian on all social media platforms. I'm always around town at the DC Improv, DC Comedy Loft, things of that nature. But just I got a link tree, Anthony Oakes. Um, yeah, come out and support. Have fun. I love to have fun. Come and support 7 Black Minutes. You can find that on IG. It's 7 Black Minutes spelled out. And yeah,
Yes, I love it. Y'all make sure to follow Anthony on everything, everything. And again, I appreciate you so much for allowing me a chance to interview you on the Straight Outta Kemet podcast.
of course, love. Always, always love.
Yes, yes. All right, y'all. Peace, peace.
Thank you all so much for tuning into the Straight Outta Kemet podcast. I do trust that you have enjoyed this episode. And before we go, I have to give a huge shout out to my girl, Unica Monet. Her song is the song that you hear on the intro to the Straight Outta Kemet podcast. Y'all be sure to go follow her. You can follow her at Cosmic Nobodies Conventions with a K, Less Nobody's Business LLC, Sunshine Monet L on Facebook, Less Nobodies on YouTube, and Unica Monet on all streaming platforms.
I am confident, I am opulent, I am destined for greatness.